You look like a rat.
Welcome back to LustCast. If you don't know already, 7 months ago I did an interview with a porn star called Eva Berger. She made shocking abuse allegations against Pierre Woodman. It's 7 months later. It's very, very late, but finally, Pierre Woodman responded to the allegations with a video. Today I'm just going to watch that video and react to it. Before we get into that, just please remember, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and just help get this video to be seen by as many people as possible. Every share, every like, every comment, it just helps get the message out there that this kind of abuse needs to stop. So let's just get into it. Let's see what Woodman put out, and I'll give some commentary as we go along.
Hello everyone! Here we are today for this video showing the truth about this story with Eva Berger, having done a casting with me almost 10 years ago in 2014. 9 years exactly. To be honest, I didn't want to do this video at all. It was a crazy work to find back the rush, all photo, to get back my iPhone, my old iPhone, with some conversation she had with me in the past, to find out things.
Interesting how he says it was crazy work to prepare the evidence proving that he's innocent, because allegedly he showed this evidence to Chiara Lord. So why wasn't it already prepared? Why can't you just show us whatever you showed her?
It was a nightmare job. And to listen the 2.5 hours of their crying speech, using their lies, making people believe I am a monster, was also a very bored time for myself. But okay, even if I hate to do these kind of things because I don't like to lose time for stupid situation, the lies this guy, Tommy McDonald, says on his social media is something I cannot accept anymore. It was important to show up the truth, because to make lawsuit to people, to using lawyer and whatever is something behind. During this time, people see the lies, they believe what they see, and it's something who damage the image of people like me.
I haven't received anything from his lawyer. I've received something from Chiara Lord's lawyer, but not from his. Personally, I don't think that there's any legal challenge possible to my story, but let's see.
I'm a porn producer. Of course, I do adult entertainment. Okay, fine. Some people hate it. Some people like it. Okay, everyone has the right to decide what he like or not. But I'm not a rapist. I'm not somebody having done crazy things like this guy said. I'm not pedophile. I'm not using GHB to drug girls before to rape them during my shooting.
This is really funny. Like, he's saying, I'm not a rapist. But have you ever in your life had to say, I'm not a rapist? Usually it's only people that are rapists that have to say it. But the really funny thing is, I've never once, in none of my videos, none of my content, I haven't made the allegation against him that he's a rapist. So I think maybe this is a Freudian slip. I've never accused him of using GHB either. I think this might come from a meme I posted where I was laughing at the fact that a porn producer of 30 years, he didn't know how to spell consent. He spelled scent, like the fragrance. So I made a perfume bottle and made it rape themed because that's funny. It's a joke. But he's taking that as an allegation. So I don't know. I think that says a lot. Maybe a bit of a guilty conscience there.
I'm not putting cocaine in my lube. I'm not, because of course, it's also something stupid as the cocaine effect disappear inside one lube.
Oh, this is great. Yeah, so he's shown the meme, and like, honestly, like, I know you shouldn't laugh at your own jokes, but I think this joke is pretty hysterical personally. And yeah, he used a video with stock footage. And I jokingly said, I bet he used stock footage from Epstein's Pedo Island for this. And again, I don't think he's seeing the funny side, and he's mixing jokes with allegations. So it's a bit weird. But let's go back to the cocaine bit that he said. I didn't accuse him of putting cocaine in his lube. That was an allegation by his friend of 15 years, Dennis Blackmagic. If your friend says you put cocaine in your lube, like, that's on you, sort that out between yourselves. Maybe sue him for defamation. I don't know what. There's many allegations floating around about what Woodman puts in his lube. And his friend and model recruiter, Dennis Blackmagic, is the one that says that, not me.
But anyway, the guy said so many things completely insane. The problem is that some people for sure will be able to believe what he said, and even he gets some followers on Twitter. Now he's over 4,000. And it's a problem because if he has 4,000 people following him, maybe some of them believe what he said. So I don't want this to stay like this. Maybe some people will continue to believe what he said after this video, but I guess if you have a brain, it would be very easy to find out where is the truth.
Yep, I think that's a very good point. If you have a brain, it's very easy to find out the truth. So anyone that's watched my videos will know that every allegation that's been made has not been made by me. It's been made using evidence, things Woodman has said himself, things Woodman's friends have said, things Woodman's former employees have said, and things his alleged victims have said. Everything I've put out there has been sourced. It's been verified as much as humanly possible. I usually try to have 2 sources for any allegation. Let's see Woodman's evidence and sources. I guess he's going to prove me wrong.
But come on, what is this joke? Try to investigate. Find me. I would like you bring a girl and she said in front of me, okay, I was raped by you, or you did this bad to me.
Hey,
Show me.
No. Look, you got me on there, but for me, it was just like, it sounded like you were challenging me on your forum. So I was like,
I challenge you. I challenge you because you put this. I said, invite me in your broadcast, discuss with me, build what you have to build. Show me some evidence you have against me about something precise.
So this is fascinating. When I did the Rocco story, I've been in Budapest for 8 years, and for all of that 8 years, I've spoken to so many girls who have complained about Woodman. I've comforted girls that have been crying after being traumatized by him. I mean, everybody in the industry knows what he does, but I've never taken it as my responsibility to expose him. I've just always said, well, it's up to the girls to speak out. Let them do it. When the Rocco thing happened, I just dropped like a casual line about Woodman also being a terrible person, but I wasn't investigating him. And Woodman contacted me, and we just had a conversation. And the conversation, at the time, I didn't have anyone coming forward to me to want to talk about him. So we were just weighing each other up. Now, what's interesting is he recorded our conversation secretly, and he's taken this small clip from it. But I think what he doesn't realize is I also recorded the conversation secretly, but I didn't know I could legally use secretly recorded footage. So maybe in this video, or maybe in a different video, I'll show you some clips, or maybe all of that conversation, because it was wild. In that conversation that we had, I obviously didn't want to reveal the names of girls that had spoken to me, because then that opens them up to extreme harassment by Woodman. And also, I don't have permission from girls that have spoken to me to reveal their names. I don't even have permission from many girls to tell their story. So the way we left this conversation, it was very productive. And I actually started to believe, like, okay, maybe he is the victim here. Like, I genuinely believed that, because the problem is that a company called Legal Porno, Rocco Siffredi, and Pierre Woodman, they kind of hate each other. I think they all hate each other. Maybe Rocco and Legal Porno don't hate each other. I don't know. But there are a lot of lies floating about, and they do put out a lot of rumors about each other. Could just be Chinese whispers where stories get changed and exaggerated. It could be that a lot of stories are true. But I started to think, okay, maybe it's just his enemies out to get him. Because what Woodman said to me is that, look, next time there's an allegation against me, contact me, and I'll give you all the behind the scenes footage so you can see that I'm a good guy. I was like, okay, great. So no need to investigate him. I even put out a little apology in the next podcast to say, he's a complicated person. It's a complicated situation. And then when Eva complained about Rocco, I found an old article in a Russian magazine. I contacted him and said, like, hey, can I see the footage? And he lost his mind and he wouldn't show it. So what he says and what he does are 2 completely different things. And that made me so suspicious. I don't think I've met many models that haven't complained about him. So I just went for it. I decided to investigate Woodman and started posting clips of the Eva Berger video and asking questions. I don't think Woodman understands copyright law. I haven't stolen his scene. I took clips from the scene and offered commentary on them. It's a reaction, just as I'm doing with this video. That's fair use. You're welcome to challenge me in court for copyright. Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, I thought Pierre was going to show me the footage. And then because I'd seen the attacks on his family and things like that, I thought, well, maybe it is all bullshit. But he refused to show it to me, and let's check his footage. So I asked him for it, and then he went mad.
Now you said to me, my friend, okay, yesterday I was speaking with a guy, black, he said he has a dick 30 centimeter and he fucked your ass last week. What you can say? If I don't tell you the name and who it is, okay. So tell me the name of the girl. I go right now, pick up the hard drive, and I show you on my computer right now what she said.
He will make every argument possible to defend himself, except the logical one, which is to release the behind-the-scenes footage without cuts.
Okay, but who is this guy? Tommy McDonald is the judge, the sheriff of porn industry, the Colombo, the whatever. He said white, and everybody has to be like that and do what he said immediately? Come on. That was the first reason why I didn't want to go up and run in this direction, because...
See, he's just contradicting himself. Even in that clip, he said, I'll show you the footage. But he didn't show me the footage. And now he's backtracking, saying, oh, because I'm asking, who am I to ask? Well, I think when a girl accuses you of violent abuse, I think there's some questions to answer. And as a media company, I'm going to ask those questions. Now, you don't have to answer. That's fair enough. But if you don't answer the questions, I'm going to find someone else that will.
If I start to do that, why not everybody tomorrow has a chip and follow this man in everything he said? It's just a provocation he does because he tried to get fame. This guy is nobody. Nobody, even when he was a porn director. I didn't even know myself after 30 years in this industry, because I met him in 2017, so we can say 6 years ago. I didn't even know who was this guy. It's because one evening, there was Valentina Nappi, Shona Rivers, Harriet Sugar Cookie, and him in a restaurant where I was. And I met them. Of course, Valentina and Shona was my great friend. Then Harriet jumped from the table and said she wanted a selfie with me. I was very happy because she was so beautiful. I said, wow, what a beautiful girl. Why she wanted a selfie? It's very nice. I did the selfie and I said, okay, you're so cool. I will invite you for casting. And then, voice, out of question. Wow, who is this guy? Tommy McDonald. Wow.
Actually, that didn't happen. So it's partially true. I'm sure Harriet Sugar Cookie can confirm that, or Valentina Nappi or Shona River. We were in Four Seasons, just having dinner. Woodman walked past. Harriet took a photo. That's it. I mean, there's no way Harriet would ever do a casting for Woodman. I'm sure Harriet has her own opinion on that, and it's not fair of me to drag her into this. But that's not what happened. But knowing what we do about Woodman, that no one would let their friends go to have a casting with them, that would be just so dangerous.
Manager, peut-être boyfriend, I don't even know exactly what was the relation between them, but...
we owned a business together, a porn website. So there you go.
Whatever, the guy, make a stop on this. And I asked her, I said, then, why are you doing a selfie with me if it's... No, it's not for what you think. It's for our personal business. This is what she told me. Okay. I don't pay really attention about that.
She just doesn't speak like that. This is just fabricated and just... I don't know why he's telling this story like that. I guess to make me seem like someone that hates him. I don't have any love for him, that's for sure. He can't do the things that I believe he's done to women without disliking someone quite strongly.
But 1 month later, exactly almost 1 day, 4 days, because it was 17 July when I did this selfie with Harriet, and it was 18 August when I get a problem with Lana Road. The week after, Harriet contacted me to say that she prepared an article to say that there was a sex assault on Lana Road, and she wanted to have my personal opinion about this. I say, okay, go ahead, I have all the proof that nothing like that happened, so go, I will sue you.
Again, that's not what happened. We asked both sides. We asked Lana and Woodman for their version of the story, and Woodman said he could provide us with all the backstage footage. He didn't provide it, but Lana, she didn't want to do an interview either. So there was just no story for us. I mean, Lana, at the time, she was the most popular up-and-coming porn star in the world. She had a huge platform of her own. I don't think we could have given her any extra boost.
The story disappeared. She never did this article. And I never heard about these people for years. And a bit more than 1 year ago, Tommy McDonald reappeared because he started to make a broadcast with my friend Chiara Lord. And honestly, it was fun. I liked to watch it. It was cool. There was no any question. There was some interesting discussion. It was sponsored by Pornodan, but okay.
So the podcast he's talking about is before I did this podcast, I tried to do a different one. It was called How to Be a Porn Star. And the idea was to make it comedy, to have porn stars laughing about our own job. And Pornodan was my co-host on that. So for Woodman, Pornodan being my co-host is him sponsoring. So, I mean, if Pornodan put any money in, it's news to me. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, Pornodan ate me, but there were some subjects funny and everyone liked to see that. But one day, Chiara Lord said in this broadcast, the best director of the world, or my favorite director of the world, it's Pierre Woodman. Okay. And then Pornodan get a gloves in his throat. And this sequence disappeared from this broadcast. So Chiara was furious because she has told me already that she said that during this podcast. And I don't know how she did it, but she get it back, give it to me, and I publish this on my forum to say it's very strange. People do kind of podcast interesting, but when it's about me, they make a cut. Why?
So well.
Let's everyone mention one person who we think is like an ideal director.
I love Romero's porn. I don't like the porn, but I love what he does. It's so cool.
Okay, well, I'm always talking, model point of view. So it might be an unpopular opinion. So seatbelts on, please. Well, I would say my favorite director for the moment is Pierre Woodman.
That's okay. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people.
No, he's controversial. Yeah. I get it. But as far as I am,
no, a lot of
10 out of 10.
A lot of people have good experiences with him.
Yeah. So
he's like a Marmite character, I think.
What do you think, Dan?
Who do I think's a good director?
I love how he's making a thing of this. I remember that podcast at the time. That one was a much more heavily edited podcast because if something wasn't funny or interesting, we tended to edit it out because we were aiming more for a comedy podcast. But I remember editing this out. I just remember hearing Chiara promote him as the best director. She even sounded sarcastic when she said it. And she's like, controversial opinion. I know, because Chiara has also heard all the allegations against him. Everybody in the industry knows what he does. He doesn't do it to everybody, though. Not to everybody. Plenty of people have a good experience with him. Abusers tend to pick their victims wisely. Now, at the time, I believe Chiara had just done her first anal scene for him. I'm sure he paid quite well for it, and she was very happy with it. But of course I edited it out. I think it would be dangerous to promote him as one of the best directors, and it was my show, and it wasn't it wasn't news we were making. We're making comedy. So yeah, I edit lots of stuff out, and I definitely edited that out. And I remember I gave Chiara the footage to Woodman just because I thought it would annoy him to see that it was edited out. And I guess it really got in his head that he's bringing it up now.
Something not about this to me. I was more focused on Pornodan because I know Pornodan hate me. And that's it. But deeply, I know that this day when I publish this on my forum and
He's obsessed with Pornodan. I mean, I wonder why Pornodan hates him. Maybe the same reason most people in the porn industry hate him. That's what I would go. It's not my job to speak for Pornodan, but Woodman keeps mentioning him.
Make some joke about Pornodan and stuff like that. I opened the Pandora mirror. It was something wrong, and then of course arrive at what we have now.
So Woodman's saying that the reason lots of girls are speaking out and accusing him of violent abuse and tricky non-consensual practices and many other things in his porn is because he made a joke about Pornodan, and Pornodan orchestrated like some puppet master, lots of girls to speak out. Like, what the fuck? It's like, well, Lana, Eva. Oh, who else is there? There's loads of them. There's so many girls that have spoken out and got shut down, most of them, sadly. Like Lara Malvo, did Pornodan get her to speak out as well? And I gave my expert opinion on all the problems with it.
Expert opinion. And it's me who's supposed to have a big ego. All right. Anyway, it's funny. So
I don't think he understands the definition of expert. If you have a lot of experience with something, you can usually be called an expert.
Oh, this super expert Sheriff Colombo of my balls, twice since now 8 months, get the behind-the-scene part of Eva Berger. It's a tricky game because he knows that, of course, when you show up everything, there is some kind of personal part, of course, from Eva that I cannot put online.
What? You can put everything online. Just hide personal information. You just censor personal information, like real names. Like, what's he talking about? So I think, I feel like we're about to get some excuses for why he can't show us the footage here.
There are personal things from my guys, from me, the way we speak, the way we do the things. And of course, there is some kind of personal way to work that normally we don't show to the public. Which are a little trick. Like when you have a magician on show, he doesn't show you everything.
I mean, are they giving each other hand jobs? Like, what's happening? What is it that's happening between his guys that he can't show us? I'm intrigued. I want to know. Are you going to show us the footage?
And because of that, Tommy expects that he will be the winner of this game. The thing is that now, after 35 years old in this industry, I decide that I don't care. I have nothing more to prove, except now that they are liars.
I have nothing more to prove, except I need to prove you're a liar. Okay. But I think it's going to show, was it, some evidence. So let's see it. Come on, out with it.
But I spoke with my family, I spoke with my friend. And in the balance between let people imagine that I am an asshole and finish my career and show up, fuck you all guys, I'm not at all the person that you try to make the world believe I am. It was more important now to set it up a proper way. So voila, the original video was over 4 hours long.
Okay.
I cannot put a 4 hour long video here, but voila.
What? Why can't you show us the 4 hours? Like, there's no limit. It's your own website. There isn't like, you can put a 24-hour video on your website if you want. Or send the file to me. I'll put it up. Sounds like you're hiding something.
You will have an idea for sure soon about who is what in this story, and I'm very confident about what will be your feeling about that. So you're a Gemini, double face, huh? Okay, how old are you today? Сколько лет тебе сегодня?
25.
25 years old. When did you start the porn?
Где я начала сниматься в порно?
Yeah, when was your first time?
В 2013 году.
I'm just going to assume that Woodman's Russian translations are correct and haven't been changed in any way. I'll get a Russian friend to double check that for me later.
2013, so last year. Okay.
Sorry, what? So is he saying because she's been doing porn for 1 year, she can't have been abused by someone else? So only girls that are brand new to porn can be abused? Okay.
I came to Budapest. Also, my agent from St. Petersburg, he said, like, you will be super popular. Just work for Pierre, work for Rocco, work for big names, and you will be boom. So I was coming like star is coming, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when I came, I did test, medical test, photo test. I was like, nothing happened. Like nothing happened. Like I had some solo shoot, and when I came to Budapest, my agent said to me like, Pierre saw you and he didn't like you, he didn't want to shoot you. He saw me on the first day I arrived from airport to model house, and he came immediately to this model house and he saw me. What happened next? My agent finally sent me to Lego porn.
Okay.
I came to Lego porn, I did some gangbang scene. And next day I back to Budapest. It was a sitting train. And at morning I came to model house and she said to me like, you know, I asked a lot, Pierre finally take second look at you. It was like maybe after 2 or 3 weeks of me waiting for him, some second look to you. It's only me who can do it for you. I will do it for you. Nobody else can speak with him for you. And I asked him a lot to take a look at you. And he said like, okay, he will take a look at you. So dress up like in like 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever. I don't remember details on conversation, but she said to me like something like, you have your last chance to get this job. Go to meeting, kind of interview. But I didn't even know it will be interview, or we would just meet and speak. Maybe she even said it to me day maybe before. I think she said to me day before, so you have to back from Prague to Budapest, and next day you will have something like this. No.
Okay, so our first funny moment. What the fuck is this? I made another video proving that the text messages that were faked by him. I'm 99% sure that they were faked. He isn't able to prove that they're real by tapping the name and showing me what number they came from. So let's look at the first text message. This was allegedly sent to Woodman the day before the shoot on the 15th of July, 2014. And it says, hello, Pierre. Yulia say me tomorrow job casting Marcus and you. Very thank you, please. Possible 10 boy. I very much dream big gangbang, very hard sex. Smiley face. So the reason Woodman's posting that text message is because one of the allegations that has been made about Woodman is that he doesn't tell the girls what the scene is about until the day of the casting. And there are many, many girls that will say this is true. And Eva also made this allegation. She said that she was just told she has to impress him. It's an interview. If you impress him, then maybe you'll get work. So he's saying that's not true. She knew it was going to be a gangbang, and she was asking for a very big gangbang. But this message looks very suspicious to me. The main reason is, especially if you're in the porn industry, and I think it's been mostly people in the porn industry watching this, As a model, have you ever sent a message to a producer like this, asking for more guys, more extreme, more work, but not asking for more money? It doesn't make any sense. And as a producer, when have you ever known a model ask for more work in this way? They always ask for more scenes. Oh, do you have any free spots for next week or this week? Or I'm free these days. Do you need to shoot? You don't get, oh yeah, I'd like to do a harder scene, like a 10-boy gangbang. Okay, some people dream of it, and that's great, but it's work. And she's done other gangbangs before. I'm pretty sure she'd ask for money if that's the case. So that's the first thing that alerted my suspicions. The second is, it's her first scene for Woodman. So she was shooting the day before for legal porno. Now, this is time-stamped at 4:38 in the afternoon. And I would assume she would be very busy on set at that time, but maybe not, and give the benefit of the doubt there. But so she's taking a break from her workday to send this to the producer the next day, but her agent would take care of the booking. And I spoke to Eva about this, and she said she didn't have Woodman's number until after her first shoot. The idea of going against her agent and contacting a producer independently, I know, Julia, I don't think many models would be brave enough to do that. And why would they? Julia was there on the casting. She was there translating for Eva and Woodman. So why would Eva message him? Wouldn't her agent do this? Wouldn't her agent say, okay, she wants to do a 10-boy gangbang, this is the price we want? That's how things normally work or should work. So it's just very suspicious. It doesn't make any sense. Eva says there's no way she sent this message. She definitely doesn't remember it. Yeah, the other suspicion is that this is 2014, and in 2014, iPhones were using the newer flat design in iMessage. So maybe Woodman's one of the few people that doesn't update his phones. I don't know, it's very suspect to me. I mean, he works literally running a website. You'd think he's up to date with software and just keeping things up to date. Plus, only 20% of iPhone users don't update to the latest version of iOS. So it's very strange. Just adds to the suspicion for me. We'll leave this one for now. So there was a second text message for Eva's second shoot with Woodman. This one was in September. And here's the message. This time Woodman showed it on a phone with the text message. And it says, "Pierre, my love, Esther say you book me Thursday. Thank you so much, shoot me again. I was waiting this much. Can you do more boys this time? And true pissing too. I want drink you and boys piss, please." So again, it's just really bizarre. Like, I don't know many or any girls that speak like this or any people that speak like this. And there's even more to be suspicious about with this message. Again, who's going to ask to drink piss without asking for more money? It doesn't really make sense. And the other thing that's suspicious is, on my podcast, Eva said her second trip to Budapest was with Brill Babes, and Esther is the lady that works at Brill Babes. She runs it, arranges most of the bookings for models. Now, what happened is Eva actually misspoke, and she didn't do her second trip with Brill Babes. She did it with a different agency called Sandy's Models. Now, at that time, Brill Babes and Jewel Models, which was her original agent that sent her to the first casting for Woodman, they had a close business relationship. This was before they fell out. So the idea of leaving Jewel Models and going to work for Brill Babes, that wouldn't make any sense on its face. I doubt Julia is going to want to lose the income from Eva and then give it to her business partner at Brill Babes. It just doesn't make sense. So the alternative agency at that time was Sandy's Models. Again, I spoke to Eva, And she said it's not possible. She could have been working at Bill Babes at that time. Now, the other thing that's suspicious is the date. So this message says that it was sent on the 7th of September, which was a Sunday. I circled that here. And it says, you booked me for a shoot on Thursday, which would be the 11th. So I asked Eva about this. And she said that the message really looks fabricated. She does not remember the trip that way at all. She said that she was definitely working for Sandys. And Woodman booked her directly. And she said she was worried about accepting the booking because she felt it was going behind her agent's back. And she didn't want to do that at the beginning of her trip. So she said she arranged the shoot for the end of her trip, not the 11th. To try and confirm if Eva's correct on this, I went to Woodman's forum, and you can see here on his forum in the Eva Berger thread, it says September the 27th, 2014. Today, Eva did a UDP looking like an old Superfucker style with the French lady Cecilia Delis. So on Woodman's own forum, posted by him on the 27th, he's saying, if we look at the calendar, that the shoot was 2 weeks later. So why would there be a message from Eva saying that she's been booked by an agent that's not her agent and for a date that she didn't shoot on, according to Woodman's own website? So this message just looked super fabricated and inconsistent with the timeline. And just to double check, I thought, okay, let's contact Eva and let's contact Woodman and just get them to show proof of this message. So with Eva, she went into her emails and she showed me a photograph showing that she received an email from Sandys with her commission statement. And that's on the 26th of September, 2014. And you can see the dates and each booking that she did. So Eva's story checks out. And this is legit email. So it does contradict the text message completely. Clearly she was working at Sandys. And she wasn't working at Bill Babes at that time. She also checked her email for me and showed me that didn't have any emails from Bill Babes. And then I did the same thing to Woodman. So I contacted Pierre and I just said, look, can you make a video for me? Show me those messages on the phone, tap on her name and show me which number it came from, because anyone can make a fake text message and show it in a screenshot or show it on a phone. It's really not difficult. And the interesting thing is he refused to do it. So not, just refused. He tried to claim that Eva started working at Sandys 2 years later, which is not true because we have receipts for that. Arguing with him all day. I just kept saying, please show me the receipt. Just, show me this is true, because it doesn't look true. And it looks to me like he's making up text messages, because I don't think he can refute the claims that Eva made in the interview without fabricating evidence. It's quite disturbing. I'm going to go into it in a lot more detail in a different video, but let me show you some messages from him. So here, I just said the text messages look suspicious. Are you sure they're real? Because they don't match the timeline I have from Eva. And he's like, oh my God, you're sick, really? Here's another example. He carried on, you have a mental problem. Anyway, I did what I had to do. Be happy you got me to show things who hurt my business. I know it was a basic goal from your sponsors, but I don't care. I got so much support now that I feel the good thing. Do whatever you want. Try to continue to say I'm a rapist if you really want. I don't know why he's saying that. I haven't called him a rapist in public once. So yeah, he's just going mental. And I lost count of how many messages he sent me today. I just kept pushing him. Why can't you show me the number to verify Eva's texts? Because I'm not your dog and I do what I want, not what a clown asks me. And it's like, but if he shows me the receipt, I have to hold my hands up and say, sorry, Woodman, Eva's lying about those messages or mistaken, memory can fail. So why not show me, anyone can make a claim. Anyone can make a screenshot of a text message, which is why you have to show receipts. That's why you have to show proof that what you're saying is true. And this is a big problem with Woodman. He says a lot of things, but he can't back any of it up.
Trying my
Earn the job.
best. I'm in front of my agent. I'm in front of a big director. And they say to me directly what will happen with me right now. So it's hard to say no in my position.
This is the most important thing. And this is, I think, why Pierre has fabricated this message. Because Woodman does not like girls prepared. Because if they're prepared, they can say no to him. The call sheets, they say just an interview, just a casting, a paid casting, paid interview. And then on the day, that's when he tells them what's going to happen.
He wants to control the model. So girls are going to the Woodman casting. He wants them not to know, not to be forewarned about what's going to happen on that casting. Because if girls will be forewarned, then they will know exactly. Then after the interview, he's going to do his Chinese technique and etc., etc. Most of the girls, they will refuse even to do the interview. So that's why Pierre likes girls coming from agents who let the girls just go to the Woodman without to know anything.
If a girl is new or whatever, she come to me, she's recorded, nobody make any pressure, she's between the door and me, she can left anytime she wants, and she speak to me. And she decide by herself what she want to do, and this is not the agent who have to oblige a girl to do anything. It's the girl, because she's 18 years old, who has the right to take the decision by herself. Okay? Yesterday, she was sick, but I was supposed to meet a girl. She came from 150 kilometers to speak to me, and speaking is the best way to set up situation like we are doing, you and me now.
I agree.
We have a discussion now. So discussion is the normal way between humans to set up a situation, to say it's white or black. And if you take the decision to do it...
It's a disgusting way of working. And the reason he does that is because it's hard for the girls to say no. In Eva's case, the important thing to keep in mind here is Eva did not have a work permit. She had nobody she could go to for help. She was completely dependent on her agent, who had brought her to Europe illegally. By definition, this is sex trafficking. So in my opinion, there is no doubt that Eva is a sex trafficking victim. And in pimp terms, Woodman is obviously the person that's benefiting. He's kind of like a pimp in this situation. And her agent, Julia, is acting as his bottom bitch, his enforcer. And what Eva has alleged is that she was set up, is how she feels. She was starved of work, so she had no money, and then sent to Woodman. And even if, let's say, she wasn't set up, the situation is so alarming and so serious. Because you imagine an illegal worker, completely dependent on their agent, taken to Woodman, and then they're told, okay, it's going to be double anal, a gangbang, it's going to be 4 guys and Woodman. Are you okay with that? And your agent has taken her day out to go there with you. How on earth do you say no to that? That's a deliberate high-pressure situation. Consent is not possible. It's just not. And the manipulation that's involved in all this, because Eva said that after this scene, she started to get work. And she showed me receipts. Her next trip, she showed me she was working nearly every day. But before this scene, it wasn't. And I think, in my opinion, this is a deliberate setup. I've seen this kind of setup, a slightly different setup with Brill Babe sending people to Woodman, with Dennis Black Magic sending people to Woodman. I also had one of Woodman's employees telling me how this kind of scam works. In my opinion, it's pure sex trafficking, and Woodman is a major part of this. And it's disgusting. And the fact he's had to fabricate a text message to try and offer some sort of evidence that Eva knew what she was getting into is shocking. You know, show us the call sheet. Show us the information Eva received from her agent the day before. It's just disgusting.
So, but it's something like, so it's really tricky, this kind of casting. I want to know what will be on shooting before shoot.
Like to find 4 free guys for that day, especially at that time, because the good guys were always busy. You know, you can't just like call a guy that day and book him. Not usually. Not like 4 good ones.
Oh yeah, but I had information will be interview
Ça arrive.
Ah, so.
She white period or what?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's offering this clip as proof that she knew it was going to be a gangbang with 4 guys. No, this looks like it was agreed on the day. Like, she's already naked. The guys are there. Obviously, I assume you've signed the contracts and things if they're jerking off. This clip proves absolutely nothing.
Ah, she went the period?
Yeah.
Okay.
She had a tampon.
Ah, she has a...
It's also worth keeping in mind, adding to the pressure and making it even harder to say no. One of the guys Woodman booked was Marcus Dupree, who Eva described as sexually assaulting her.
I saw how he was speaking with girls in model house, like go there, go there. He like tried to fox me. And for him it was like normal when I was in my room in model house.
What, he would just walk in?
Yes, he just walk me and like take off and put the dick in my pussy. So I was like,
That's...
So it was normal. It was okay. So he was like,
that's normal?
And yeah.
Did you want to have sex?
Marcos, no.
So imagine your agent is there, a man that sexually assaulted you is there, and how do you say no? How do you say no when everything's booked? It's just not possible. You know what? This is the thing. When the shoot is booked and you know everything, you can make a decision quietly on your own and you arrive at a different conclusion, don't you?
And you can say no in last minute.
No. You can say no.
From your home, not from his hotel room in front of...
with all the guys waiting for their money.
Come on, Tommy, everybody knows that one girl already 1 year in porn industry will directly have sex with 4 guys without to control the blood test. It's normal, no?
What is he talking about? Just please show us some evidence, Woodman, that Eva knew it was a gangbang scene and not just a casting before the day.
Also one thing. What is the best money you get until now?
Какие лучшие деньги ты получил за съемку на сегодняшний момент? 700 евро. 700 евро.
How much?
700 евро.
And what you need for this?
So 4 boys, Liverpool.
4 boys at legal porno? When?
A week ago.
A week ago. All right. Listen. If you really do super job.
Если ты реально хорошо работаешь.
And you want to try double anal.
Если ты захочешь попробовать double anal.
And you can make it.
И если ты сможешь его сделать.
You will have 800.
Ты заплатишь 800 евро.
If you feel it's not good.
Если ты почувствуешь, что тебе не хочется и не получается, или больно, или неприятно, ты скажешь стоп.
Okay, say stop, sorry, I cannot do.
Просто не проблема, если этого не будет, не проблема. Если
idea is not to send you to hospital.
Никто не будет тебе делать то, что ты не хочешь, или что-то, что тебе доставляет боль.
Idea is to make you happy.
Но так как мы не можем чувствовать, как твоя попа, ты должна сама решать. Ну,
to make something strong, but make you feeling good.
Ему нужно снять сильный секс с тобой, потому что ты как бы, да, такая хардовая модель, и ты снималась там, с большим количеством мальчиков уже, да, и делала EDP, аналы, поэтому задача не сделать тебе плохо, задача снять сильный секс, но чтобы тебе было с этим комфортно. Вот. Но ты должна когда ты чувствуешь боль, ты не должна доигрывать, да, то есть если тебе действительно больно и неприятно, ты должна остановиться и сказать, хорошо, чтобы у нас потом не было проблем, вот, чтобы ты не вышла и сказала, вот я не хотела, а мне сделали. Мы не можем знать, когда тебе, когда уже чересчур неприятно. Останови, если ты чувствуешь неприятно, потому что он не догадается сам, он занимается съемкой, видео, да, у него куча мальчиков, поэтому I'm saying her that because she was overplaying on the interview, that I don't want she goes out after the scene, telling on the scene that it was big meaning slapped me, and then she goes out and she told that it's like a disaster catastrophe, and you know. Finishing that, I just explained that you will be shooting. There's many boys, camera, and if she doesn't say stop, you will not understand.
There's some good things and bad things in this. So obviously, it's important to tell models that yes, if it's hurting, stop. But there were some things in there that were quite alarming. So to start with, the translation that Woodman used is he needs to do a hard scene with you. Not do you do hard scenes? Do you like to do hard scenes? Are you comfortable doing hard scenes? he needs to do a hard scene with you. That's not how a consent conversation should happen. And yes, she's agreeing to everything. And on its face, that should be good. I'd like to see safe words. I'd like to see what to do if you can't speak, because if you can't speak and use your safe word, you need a signal to indicate that you're uncomfortable and in pain. But none of that seems to be in there. But the more alarming thing is that, as Eva said in different parts of this interview, her agents told her
it was like a shame for me to say no, to stop, because it means I'm problematic actress. It means...
Why did you think that?
Because it was like a myth behind Slavic porn stars, like strong actress never complain, strong actress never cut, strong actress shoot without stop.
This is just something that was generally told to you?
Yes, it was like...
Or by someone specific?
I think it also came from maybe agents, in Russia some agents, maybe some directors, and somehow slowly, and we've been like proud on, like, we can do hard work and never complain, never stop. For me, it was like nonsense to stop. What means stop? It means I'm complicated. They will be mad on me. They will never book me anymore. No, I'm strong. I can survive. I will do my best, no matter I'm in pain. It's my job. My job be in pain.
And if you speak to any Russian girl in porn, they will tell you the same thing. The agents tell them, oh, the European girls are so weak because they say no to things. And how does she say no to anything when her agent is sat right there? So this recording, this is made for the benefit of if police or if Visa and MasterCard or if anyone like me ever questions it. It's theatre. It looks like consent to an untrained eye, but when you know the full situation, it doesn't even resemble consent. You can't just say to a model, I need a hard scene. It's, do you consent to a hard scene? What's hard? What activities are we going to be doing? And you need to be consenting to every activity. Is strangling okay? In this video, there was kicking. Is kicking okay? There was slapping on all parts of the body. Ass. There was breast slapping, I think. Slapping the back. Do you consent to that? And I'm not really seeing that. It just doesn't look like a consent conversation that you would see on any other porn set. And the key word for me is, I need a hard scene. The implication being, if you don't do a hard scene, you don't get the money. You don't get the work. We'll send you home. And this is a girl that's, I'll keep saying it. She does not have a work permit. She's working there illegally. I would say she's been sex trafficked by definition. Where can she go? What does she do? Does she even? At this point, I don't even think she would have much money for a flight home, and completely dependent on her agent. So how does she say no? It could be good for your career to work for him.
Yes, it's
a very strange thing to say.
It came from agents. Like if you want to be popular, it's like you work for Steven Spielberg.
Fuck off.
It's like
Seriously?
over James Cameron. Yeah, like
what was like the crappy Sony Handycam?
Yes. Like you have to work for Woodman. If you will work for Woodman, he will take you on this casting, you will have a lot of shooting. You will be popular. You will be porn star. It's like your white tickets to the business.
So they really sold him to you.
I thought if I don't work for Pierre, I'm done. I have zero experience.
I'm not sure how showing that she did a gangbang proves that he's innocent. It's like, yes, but she did a gangbang for another company and everything was fine. Yeah, like it should be fine. Most porn scenes should be fine, but she's saying yours was not. So please show us more evidence why yours was okay.
I did
so there should have been lots to, yeah.
I did DP. I did gangbangs for Lego porn.
Yeah.
When he asked me about slapping on face and choking, I said I'm not like...
Okay, if something is too much...
Если что-то будет чересчур или где-то что-то, потому что, видишь, ты в интервью немножко играла, да, ты что-то там доигрывала, и мы точно не можем понять, где твоя линия, где твои барьеры, где твои линии. Поэтому если...
If you turn your face...
Когда он тебя шлепает по лицу, поворачивай лицо.
Let's try.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Voilà, you understand?
Тебе нужно
Voilà.
делать...
I think on the ass it will be difficult. So on the ass, I need to make color on your
I
ass.
need to scream, yeah?
And you like that. You know, also when I do you, yes, but not before. No, don't do it before I slap you.
Не do it.
Wait the moment the slap arrive, okay? That's okay.
There was no empathy or human compassion. It was like you were just an object talking.
And he also said, like, she likes to be burned. Looks like she likes to be.
And so I'll just go back to that slapping part. That's very good. I mean, all porn videos should have this, but we should have this for every activity, not just the slaps. Discussion of boundaries is important. But again, one of the problems is she's already been told by her agent or, someone that's working effectively as your bottom bitch in this case, that you can't say no, that you don't say stop, that you do a strong, hard scene and you get through it because Slavic girls are strong. So there's still the consent issue because of the circumstances. But in principle, this is what should be happening. But we need to see this for every activity, especially extreme activities. We can't only have boundary setting for face slapping.
Here we have an interesting part. When Eva arrived in the bar with Juliana and Marcus, what was interesting that immediately she asked me, "Do you smoke?" I said, "No, sorry." "Oh, what a shame. My dream was that Pierre Woodman put a P and a W on my ass with a cigarette." Okay, I said, "Sorry, this is not my cup of tea."
I'm assuming if that's true, you're going to show us the recording of it because, as Woodman's famous for, he records everything.
This is terrible today. I have camera in my car. My car is record. Every time I go in a room, I put my phone on to record what I say to the girl if I go in one room like that, just anywhere, in the lift. I take lift, I take hotel when there is camera in the lift, or I take my phone myself. You have no idea.
And normally I never interfere in the interview of the girl. This is 100% the truth, because even myself, I love to discover, to have a dynamic in the discussion, because I discover also stuff and things. So the interview are always real. But this day, I asked her, please keep away the burning things, your masochist part with that, because of course, I was afraid that people think she's a bit, blah, 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 And what is very, very interesting is that even if I ask her to not speak about that, she went up with this cigarette mark during the interview. And when I said, "Oh yeah, I know one girl who asked me to put a P and a W on her ass," of course I was speaking about her, but I make believe it was someone else because I was afraid she come on that, And what is very, very perverse and crazy today, that in this podcast with Tommy, she tried not to reverse the situation and say that it's me who push her to speak about that, which is absolutely not the truth. It's just insane.
That's not actually what she said. She said that she requested the burning with cigarettes as a way of saying something so extreme as a fantasy so that you wouldn't be able to do it to her during the shoot. Because she was told to impress him. It's like a staged interview. And she was worried that if she says, "Oh, I like X," then X will happen in the shoot. Because some of her friends had told her that was the case with them. I don't believe for 1 second the story that Woodman just told about downstairs in the bar. But if it happened, show us the recording.
Ask me about I'm masochist. I said little masochist. You remember that?
Well, that means that you like to hurt people.
No, masochist, it means I like to be.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I got it back.
And I said like little.
See, that's
little.
how bad I am at BDSM. I got it wrong.
Also, he asked me about details. But again,
are you a masochist? Are you a masochist?
Not at all.
And she's a bit maso, I heard.
Он слышал, что ты немножко мазохистка, правда?
You like strong stuff?
Ну, я вот, да,
немножко. Yeah, when I see this.
Okay, I understand now why she asked me about to burn her ass.
I mean, he's showing this as proof, but this doesn't contradict what she said at all. I think her version of that interview fits very well with what was shown in the interview. If you look carefully at the interview, you can see she's about to cry when she mentions being burned with cigarettes. The idea that someone who is nearly crying in tears at the memory of an ex-boyfriend burning him with cigarettes is going to enjoy being burned with cigarettes by you is just wild. And the fact of showing this clip out of context to use that as proof, it just shows how weak the evidence you have is. For me, this is looking worse and worse for Woodman. And it's just a terrible defense. Everything he's shown so far has been ridiculous.
He was still asking me about what is your fantasy. I was like, oh my God, what he will never do today, what he will never do. Like, I said about my abusing boyfriend about this mark, and I said, like, I want you to put a mark on me.
He was obsessed with the damage on your ass.
Yes.
He was really obsessed with that. Even when he was fucking you, he was like more filming your like damaged ass.
Damage.
He seemed very proud of it.
Yes. And he said, you will never forget me.
I think she explained this in the full interview. And this is very common. I think everybody has had a friend or a relative that's had an abusive relationship. And people always ask, why do they support them? Why do they keep going back? Why are they friends with them or even in love with them in some cases? And remember, she wants to be a porn star. She wants to do porn. And Woodman has done something very traumatic to her and then afterwards treated her very kindly. They call this trauma bonding. It's often what happens with abusive boyfriends. But I think it's fair to say that you can trauma bond with a boss that abuses you, an agent that abuses you. Like girls that are sex trafficked, they often have lots of good feelings towards the person trafficking them. Prostitutes often have lots of good feelings towards their pimp. But once they get out of that bad situation and they feel free, then they see it for what it really is. And I think that's all we're seeing here. It's completely normal. Now, to an outsider that's not used to dealing with abuse, this can look like, oh, she's changed her mind. But no, this is incredibly common. They often find some affection for their abuser for some time. Stockholm syndrome. I'm not a massive expert on it, but from people I've spoken to, from charities I've spoken to, this is kind of what's happening here. And Woodman said he's going to show us consent for everything that happened in the video. Now, the part on her ass is very interesting because at the end of the video, he was fucking her and he kept slapping her ass. And she's trying to put her hands in front of her ass to protect herself. And she just keeps moving her hands out of the way so he can slap her more.
Sale pute chien! Putain Clément, ouais!
And, you know, that is her saying stop. And she's been told by her agent that she can't stop, but she is saying it. She's trying to protect herself and you're not letting her. So it's really, really bad. It is a traumatic experience. And I would like to see him show consent for every bad thing that happened to her in that video. Show us that each activity was staged, not real. But I'm not seeing that. And the fact she's a sex trafficking victim too, it's just bad.
He asked about pissing. I said, like, only if it's tasty, so.
What you never did? You never did double anal? You told me in the bar?
Никогда не
She do piss?
Писем делала.
В реальной жизни, в съемках нет.
Only in the real life, not in the shooting.
Normally it's the opposite.
А почему по-другому?
But you did in real life, okay?
Go to toilet.
That's interesting.
You know, if I will impress him, probably he will shoot me, but it's not guarantee, it's interview, so I even didn't clean myself.
When did you make it?
Когда чистила попу?
Перед... Ну?
должно быть все окей, потому что если ты сейчас воды, то еще...
I suppose you're very pro, but if you do now, maybe you will...
Давай так, вы начнете, если что-то будет не так, тогда ответ. I said that you start if something really will be
Yeah,
bad.
if something won't be better, because like that you will have maybe some water or something.
So he's saying that she said she didn't even clean herself, and in the video it shows that she did. I think that's fine. Memory is not perfect, and in the video they are talking about cleaning again. So it can just be a little haziness of memory, but to be understandable, to get a few things wrong. But I don't think it makes a major difference to the allegations at all.
He was doing with me, it was for me quite extreme, and I didn't know what it was painful. I didn't know what to wait from him. Like he put his leg in my mouth, he put a leg on my face, and after, he like beat my breast by his legs, like all this. So it was like a wave, it was like a roller coaster, and I was like, okay, I'm fucked. It will be very hard. It will be very hard, but I will survive because I'm a strong actress. I will not complain. Everybody will be happy. I will be porn actress. I will not back home with no money and something like this. But I was shocked. I was like, fuck.
It hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, shocked because he was thinking you almost died, so he's a new guy.
David speak Russian. Банаток, очень хорошо, давай сюда, иди работай, давай к нам. Доброе утро.
He's new boy, so he was in shock. He was sure he was right when he screamed. Я nicht хорошо, правда. Правда, хорошо. Allez, no. Same position. Who was inside?
Me.
What?
Me. No.
Who was here when I was making the finger?
Me.
It was him. So you go back, and I will take off my finger like if it's finished, okay? Allez.
Take your on me.
Allez. Ты должна кричать как назад, потому если ты не кричишь как назад, это нет ракорд. Sorry. Еще раз. Allez. Ok, on y va? Сильно кричать как назад. Каждый руди. Крича сильно, attention. Ah, salope! Allez!
He was still asking me about
fantasy.
When I said about pissing, I said like pissing is fine. So, and he did pissing scene.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot we've just gone through then.
Take off the tongue. Take off.
So he's shown quite a lot. So before we get into the pissing, he showed a clip of him directing a porn video. So yes, he likes girls to scream. Yes, you have to direct the model. And yes, she's in work mode. She's looking happy. Everything's been filmed. You don't know what's going to make the final cut. I don't see how what he just showed shows that she wasn't in pain, that it wasn't much harder than what she expected. Remember, she's already been told by her agents that you're not supposed to say stop or no. Don't be like European girls. So I don't get how showing that you're a director that directs the porn video proves that it's not staged. Like something can be staged and past your limits. And the screaming is also interesting. I'm curious if he's going to show the part where, if you watch the full video yourself, she does scream loud because he asks girls to scream loud. That's well known. But they were interrupted by the hotel manager to check she was okay because she was screaming so loud. And after that, if you watch the video, she's screaming and they're telling her not to. They're telling her, they're trying to put the hand over their mouth, trying to stop her screaming. And that shows that the screams are real. They're not staged. She's screaming in terror. Now, some screams are staged, especially near the beginning, but later, after she's already been told, don't scream, be quieter, that's real. And she mentioned quite a lot of things there. She said he put his foot in her mouth. Did he get consent to put his foot in her mouth? Kicking her in the breast. You know, show me the staging of this. Show me that that's not real.
Oh putain, tu me fais chier, regarde, tiens. On va te calmer un petit peu, toi. On va te calmer un peu. Bip. Ah, c'est de la bonne musique, ça. La bonne musique. Le concerto en pied majeur. Allez, vas-y. Давай. T'en veux un autre, sale pute? T'en veux un autre? Tiens, vas-y. On t'en met deux.
Put this fucking shit on her face and let's see if she's gonna shut the fuck. Vas-y, fais-lui une clé. Fais-lui une clé russe.
I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Girls Do Porn case, but one of the victims did an interview and she was brutally raped for that scene. But on camera, she looked happy because she had to be. This little clip, it doesn't really show much. To get a full view, we need the full 4 hours of footage. So my challenge to Woodman is show us the footage. Show us everything's true. And then we'll get into the pissing. In the interview, remember the interview stage and you have to impress him to get the job. So it's kind of like playing. She describes that in the interview. And I think he's showing that the pissing is apple juice to prove that she's lying. But in the interview we did, we never said if the pissing was real or fake. And I know that the pissing Woodman does is fake. Everybody in the porn industry knows. I recorded the behind the scenes of mine and Eva's podcast, and we didn't mention that the pissing was fake in the podcast because it's not fair to reveal it because it wasn't relevant to the story. I wouldn't have felt good about that. It would have felt petty.
It was apple juice because I remember like...
So I don't know. I think he's exposed his big secret that the piss is usually fake. But I don't know why he's exposed it. He didn't have to because it wasn't one of the allegations made against him.
Tongue inside. Stay like that. Stay like that. Allez, bravo, my friend. Stay like this. Don't move. Расшути глотай, сука. Allez. Аккурат, fucking bitch. Глотай. 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 Glatai. Allez. Ah, yes. And now the bouquet final. Allez, the final one. Ah, yes, one more. Come here. One more for the road. Allez, open big, up your mouth. Take off your tongue. Tongue inside. Allez. Accroche tibia rod. Don't move. Stay like this, super. Don't move. Allez. Ah, Souka, stay like that, stay like that. Accroche tibialote. Oh, c'est beau tout ça. Glatai. Glatai, fucking piece of shit war. Glatai. Glatai. No, don't fall down. Glatai, I say. Glatai. 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 So. Bravo. Bravo. Allez. You say you want to remember your day with me?
Yeah.
You will remember?
Sure.
Okay. Allez. Bathroom is yours. Bye bye, Bambina.
Did you ever worry for your life? I mean, anyone that has been on TikTok has seen a bad edit when things are cut. So I'm pretty sure everybody knew pissing was fake. But now we get into the fear for your life.
I think at the end I was like little bit.
Bravo. No problem. C'est okay? Thank you. Fantastic.
How much did you make for that scene? This is clipped out of context. The bit that she's referring to is after the gangbang part. It was then there was more and taken to the bathroom. And then I think there was more sex after the bathroom. Because I remember him spanking her a lot more. So he's shown this as like her happy at the end. But I don't think this is the end. We'll have to see the full 4 hours to prove me wrong. But I don't think you can use a clip out of context. Especially not a clip when she's supposed to be smiling. You know, the camera's on, you're filming a porn star. Are you okay? Yeah, you know, you're acting. That's not proof of anything. The fact he thinks it is just ridiculous. You know, what we need to see is consent that we watched.
As I remember, it was something like around 800 euro, 800 or 900, less than 1,000. From 700, 800, so something like this.
So she remembered correctly. And one thing that Eva told me is that, and Eva said in the interview, is she has to give 20% of her money to her agent.
I also paid percent to the agency, as I remember. We paid like 20%.
So when I said, how much did you get? 1,000 euros minus 20% is 800 euros. She was bang on. So I don't know why he's showing this as proof that she lied about how much she got. It's a bit weird. But this brings up something really interesting. There's a really interesting clause in Pierre Woodman's contract. It says, for the female performers, this includes the possibility of sexual intercourse with Pierre Woodman or any other performer just after the casting or another day, which could have been video recorded or not by Pierre Woodman. I know that during this sexual intercourse, I was filmed, and it was argued that the camera was hidden without my knowledge, and this for commercial purposes. I hereby declare that I knew and agreed to this before it starts. Now, this is a really alarming clause in a contract. First, it doesn't look like it was written by a lawyer because it's in really bad English and quite ambiguous. And I could see several situations where this could be used nefariously. One is, let's say Pierre Woodman filmed a scene with one guy and one girl, and he was just directing. And then after the scene, he fucks her. It looks like this is like a get out of jail free card. And like, let's say he pushes for sex the next day, or it's like socially with a model. Maybe he films it, maybe he doesn't. And the girl feels sexually assaulted. He can show this contract and say, no, it was part of the scene. It's very shady. I've never seen a clause like this in any model contract. I need to have a lawyer look at this fully, but my gut instinct is this stinks. And it shocks me that Pierre Woodman would put that in a contract, especially worded that way. Obviously, we can't see the full contract. The context could change if we see more of the contract, but it's shady as fuck.
I got my chance. Thank my agent. I got my chance. Now I have to come to meet him, and I have to make my best to impress him.
Yeah, and I understand it if it was like Brazzers or Playboy or like Vixen, you know, like a big brand where they wear like they're top ranked and they have a lot of traffic and they've got a lot of like 1 million social media followers, or it's like Pornhub want to book you for like a special feature. I'd understand it then, but not for like a mid-level porn producer that's not, you know, it's not that big. Like Woodman is successful, but he's not that big. He's not like a celebrity.
He's right. He's fucking right. Nobody know me. Everyone said I am a very, very, very little things. I have a very, very little dick. I have a big ego. Yes. I'm supposed to have a big ego.
Well, he sounds hurt by that comment because I didn't actually say that. I was just being real. Woodman is successful as an independent porn producer. He owns 2 sites that are closely related, but he's just a small independent porn producer. He's has 40,000 social media followers, I think. Like, sorry, but you're not making anyone famous with that. And this was referring to her agents telling her, you know, how important it is to work for Pierre Woodman. And as I say, some brands, they have millions of followers. And when you work for them, you get that fame. They tag you in social media posts, you blow up. You know, like Pornhub and X videos, like the networks that they're in, if you shoot for them and they promote the scene, you know, we're talking about sites that have, you know, as many, like more daily users than Twitter or Instagram in some cases, I think. I think X videos were top 10 websites in the world. So yeah, like working on Pierre Woodman's site is not going to make you famous, especially because he hasn't embraced more modern ways of working and working with tube sites to increase the reach. He just keeps everything on his site, keeps smaller. I mean, that's fine. It's not a criticism. It's a criticism of the fact that you don't go to Woodman to get famous. You go to Brazzers, you go to Vixen, you go to No Jumper, you know? You don't go to Woodman.
But what is sure, the full planet knows Tommy McDonald. Even me, every time I enter a McDo, I recognize him immediately when I see the clown. Immediately. So, and about Eva, yeah, 3 weeks in Budapest. No job. Ah, yes, one job. Legal porno, little gangbang. Et voilà. But the big brother, the big XYZ company, they don't really want it here. They take her once.
Brazzers didn't shoot in Europe at that time. I believe they only shot in the UK and America, so it wouldn't make sense.
She has been working with me, and Eva herself, and you will see after in this video, admit that it's because of my work that she became popular, famous, whatever. So, this is it.
I love how he tries to take credit for for people's fame. No, I'm not having this at all. I think I have more social media followers than Woodman now. And I've only been doing social media for I think I've only had my podcast for 2 years. I don't know. So, yeah.
10 years later to say I am a motherfucker. Huh?
I got popular. I think I got popular from this movie. I got another shooting. I was like, okay, I'm submissive. This is my role. I'm doing...
Because you've worked for Woodman more than once.
Yes.
Right? And this is one of his defenses. Well, why did she work for me again?
Mm-hmm.
How can... She must be lying.
Mm-hmm.
Although he won't show the footage, but you're definitely lying, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this clip is taken out of context. And what she's saying is how she felt. Woodman does like to tell people that he has made them famous, that they are getting work from him. And remember that it did look like work was being withheld from her before. Because believe me, Rocco's not booking a girl because Woodman's booked her. Rocco does not care about Woodman. He's booking her because he wants to fuck the girl. He likes the girl. The priority would be to get girls before Woodman gets them. It would not make any sense. This clip was taken out of context, but if that's how she felt at the time, obviously once you understand the reality and you get out of that abusive situation, you don't feel like that anymore because you know the truth. Oh, the other fake text message. I love this. Fucking hell. Yeah.
Take off your clothes, bitch. Non, take off your clothes, bitch. Comme ça, c'est mieux. Allez, action.
Take off your clothes, bitch. Oh, please. Okay. Oh my God. You need to wear my clothes. Yes, take it all. Okay. Oh, yeah. I give you it all. Okay. Please. Oh my God. Oh. Bitch. You like that, bitch? Oh, please take it. Oh, take it. Get me free, please. What you want?
Non. Tu vas arrêter de me regarder, toi. Chut, reste comme... Non, attention, ses habits. Be careful with your clothes. Be careful with your clothes. We will take it off. Reste comme t'étais. Ok, it's okay, Eva, no problem. Attention, stay the same position. Hein? Ok, attention. Allez, attention. Tu lui dis, take off this fucking panty, fucking war, and you will take it off with your legs up when I will be there.
This is no problem, no?
Ok. Non, all is perfect. Attention, ready? Attention, t'es prête, toi? Attends, quand on te le dit. Allez, take off these panties, bitch. Attention. Mais tape-la d'abord comme tu faisais, attention. Faut que tu la tapes d'abord. Ouais, je repars sur elle. Allez, attention, t'es prêt? Allez, action.
Take off this panty, bitch. Okay.
I'm not a SM specialist, but in my opinion, my humble opinion, this second scene was much more aggressive, in fact, and rude than the casting. Maybe it doesn't look like that because the way the acting was made is different. But in terms of what Eva get physically, in my opinion, the whip is something who give much more pain than the slap or whatever. And she also have a very marked ass when it was finished. In that video, she drank a lot of piss on her request. She get very, very much spanked also by the guys. But there is a huge difference with the casting. I'm not inside, so it's not interesting to me, of course. Why to speak about a scene where Woodman is not part of? Woodman cannot be a rapist in this video, so it's not interesting for anyone.
The purpose of his video was to refute my claims. Has he ran out of things already? Because I was hoping to see consent for when Marcus suffocated her with a pillow. Like, show me the staging of that. Has he got it? Because he's now showing behind-the-scenes footage of her second video and saying that because he's not in the video, that proves that the only reason we're attacking him is because he was in the first one. It doesn't make any sense. It took us a long time to record the interview with Eva, and we thought, should we have her report on Rocco as well? Should we report on the second scene with him? Things like that. But we'd already taken so long, and we thought it was too much. But I mean, I don't even know what problems there were with the second scene yet. I'm happy to go into it if Woodman's going to show us the behind the scenes and show us that everything was okay. But could we maybe stick to the claims we have? Because it's very strange. Like, I thought he was going to prove his innocence. He hasn't shown us that yet. As I say, when a girl's bleeding out of her ass and you just continue fucking her and don't stop, to me that's disturbing. And I thought Woodman was going to show me that that was okay. But he hasn't. And who the fuck is he to decide if the whip is more damaging or being kicked in the breast? I think Eva decides what is disturbing and painful for Eva. And this is why consent is so important. And this is why the kind of fake consent video that Woodman did at the beginning is not true consent. Because in Woodman's opinion, the whip is more painful than slapping. But in someone else's opinion, it'll be something different. That's why you have to have a checklist and just mark off what you're comfortable with, and also discuss the boundaries and how far you should go for each activity.
The tour was by Brill Babes because I cut my...
So maybe that was when I tried to book you.
Yeah.
Because I used to book through Brill Babes.
Brill Babe. The agency you were used to work with until they kick you out, yeah. So now it's a bit...
To make a penicillin injection. And you were upset that Esther asked people to have a penicillin injection. This is the reason why you were very upset.
I asked what? Sorry, I didn't understand. Esther asked me what?
You were very upset because there was a request from the agency that people have a penicillin injection if they wanted to shoot with the model of Brill Babe.
No, I never got that request, no. No one ever sent that to me. I mean, if they sent it...
The information that I have is this one, because honestly, why should you stop from one day to another to use...
I mean, if they sent a message to me saying, oh, you have to have a penis injection, I would have tweeted it for sure, because it's so funny. So I can't imagine that. I'd love them to send it.
Not penis injection, penicillin injection.
Oh, penicillin? No. Because at that time, I wasn't performing, I was only producing, so I was using other models, so I wouldn't have needed a penicillin injection. Because
maybe it's true. It's not true. I don't know. But this is the basic things. And
she sent a message, and I screenshotted it. She sent an email and also a tweet to all her models saying there is no syphilis. Oh, this is so funny that he says they kicked me out. So the reason I stopped working for Brill Babes was because there was a syphilis epidemic, and Brill Babes put out a message saying there is no syphilis to all their models. They claimed that syphilis was only in Prague, not in Budapest, as if people don't swap between them all the time, like models go backwards and forwards. And also, when there was a HIV outbreak, Brill Babes wanted to go back to work the next day. They just wanted to get their models working. And that's when I stopped working with them.
To say they are doing sex trafficking, and people working with them are also doing sex trafficking. Because you, when you were working with them, you were a good guy. Of course, it's logic. Yeah, but me, I worked 20 years with them, and I never found any kind of escorting, pressure or whatever on girl from them. So maybe you have better eyes than me, but I seriously doubt about it.
But did he contact you?
Yeah, he contacted me.
Come on, read faster. Yeah, so this is fascinating. So this is the message that motivated Eva to contact me and do an interview with me, because I didn't know if the scene with Eva was consensual or not. I'd just been told by Woodman, if you see a model, any problems, tell me, I'll show you the behind the scenes, and then you can check everything's okay yourself. He refused to do that, so I just started posting clips. He panicked, and he sent these messages to Eva to try and stop her talking to me. And look at this threat. It's like, I'm going to be obliged to start legal action against this man. And maybe you also, because I'm a trademark, and what you did hurt my business. I could understand if I did anything bad to you, but it was never the case. Like, look at the gaslighting here. It's threatening her. So, this is not the actions of an innocent man. If you've got nothing to hide, you're not going to be threatening people not to talk to me, right? But this line particularly, it's your duty to respect people who gave you a job. That is what gave her the energy, the power, the strength to come to me. And she flew to Budapest. We recorded the interview. It was very emotional. What happened to her was horrible. And it happens to far too many girls that go to see Woodman. But Eva is fucking brave, and what she's done by exposing him, she's one of the strongest and bravest person I know. It's taken its toll on her, I can tell you that. But, she's fucking tough. And you can see the lies, the out of context clips, the way Woodman presents things. If you notice this video, he's done everything except show us that everything was okay. And all he has to do is just release the footage. Just show us the full 4 hours. But he's afraid to. And this legal action, my God, I've been waiting 7 months for his lawyer to contact me. Like, I want him to take legal action. I'd love a day in court to show all the things I have. I'd love the police to be involved in this. I think they should be involved in this. The things that are happening are so serious.
And even now, after 9 years, he texted me on my Twitter, it's my duty to be thankful to people who gave you a job. After so many years, I got popular. I think I got popular from this movie. I got another shooting. I actually was speaking about that situation since 2017 for Russian big newspapers, for YouTubers, for the documentary. I was speaking about violence in porn and how it can happen.
It's a really good point. She has been speaking out for a long time now, and sadly, nobody in Europe was listening. We got some defense from Woodman. It's true, when no one wanted to work with her anymore, seeing the Me Too wave in what did Amber Hart in the USA, she had the idea of trying to become the Russian leader in the defense of women victims of male violence. This is not proof. Like, you can't just say because Me Too happened that she's just riding that. It's just bullshit. And like, when girls did ride Me Too, a lot of them, they were just inspired by other women, and that gave them the courage to speak out. Like when Nelly spoke on my podcast, that gave Shona the courage to speak. That gave Ophelia the courage to speak. You know, it works like that. If you didn't do anything bad to her, show us the tape, Woodman. Like, just show us the tape. All 4 hours of footage.
Сифреди или Woodman?
Не тот, не другой. Но Woodman в жизни он милый, то есть он очень вежливый, такой добрый дядька.
А по фильму так и не скажешь. Ну, я понимаю, как надоели эти шутки, но все равно их буду вставлять периодически.
Ну, скажем так.
Вставлять,
Woodman стал делать такой материал, потому что, ну, это мое мнение, потому что он с возрастом, у него иссякают некие мужские силы, и ему нужно заполнять эфир. То есть, допустим, тебе нужно снять час видео, и тебе нужно что-то делать. Ну, например, 5 минут ты потратишь.
Да.
И 40 минут ты можешь пиздить. То есть тебе не обязательно работать как актером. Это Woodman. Но до этого он снимал нормальные фильмы, он работал для Vogue, и, в принципе, он такой милый дядька. А Сифреди, он всегда такой. То есть вот Сифреди как на экране, так и в жизни. То есть это немножко такой...
Флегматичный.
Ну, такой жестокий итальянец, я бы сказала.
Жестокий?
Да, все-таки.
Он же сицилиец.
Он очень любит влиять на людей, он очень любит давить на людей, он любит манипулировать. То есть, и действительно, та кровь, которая там показывается, реальная, и он действительно ее снимает. Хотя, вот, если у Woodman такой произойдет, он остановит съемку. Он всегда у тебя спрашивает, ты в порядке? А Рокко, он таких вещей не будет спрашивать.
I don't think there's anything proving like good things about Woodman here. As she said, you get told that you can stop. But obviously you're told by your agents that you can't. So there's a lot of nuance to be had. I don't think she's still saying that it's just violence. Like the things that happen to you on a Woodman shoot are violence. I also think it's a good example of the trauma bonding that I talked about before, where terrible things can happen to you during the shoot, but then when someone's sweet to you outside of the shoot, you can have a good impression of them and, you know, look for ways of justifying things. But then once you're out of that situation, then you feel the full weight of everything they did to you. I guess she realized about Rocco earlier than she did about Woodman, just because Woodman is more manipulative. I think she said it better in the podcast, how she thought he was a friend and it's just this crazy thing you have to get through, like a job. So I just don't see how this is evident that he didn't abuse her any more than a message saying I love you from a battered girlfriend is evident that a man didn't abuse his girlfriend. Abuse often goes with kindness. And Woodman, in my opinion, has an abusive relationship with his models. It's the best way of describing it. Plenty of other models have described that situation. I feel so bad that I asked you to watch it. And I if I was a therapist or psychologist, might say I did a terrible thing. I don't know.
No, I used to do it, and I think I had to watch it to speak now, to refresh my memory, to speak about that right now. I had to watch it. It was like my duty.
Yeah, you're incredibly brave. Like, I saw how difficult it was to watch. And I mean, it was difficult for me to watch.
Yeah, it's
and I can't imagine how hard it must be for a victim to watch.
Yeah, it was so hard to watch that you pick up the video on Pierre's site, put on your networks, invite people to come to watch it and get some money, by the way. Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness.
So he's accusing me of getting money for the podcast. I'm assuming if you're going to make that claim that you have receipts. So you're going to show me bank statements, bank transfer, a witness that says, I saw Tommy get paid, email, what? I mean, my podcast isn't even about porn. So let's see your evidence that I get paid to do a podcast about you. Woodman is deluded. Like, he takes credit for so many things that have nothing to do with him, you know? Like, he's successful in Europe, but in the wider industry, he's small, you know? He's not X videos or MindGeek.
Again, small. Woodman's the small. I'm sure something goes wrong in your head about me.
What, you're not as big as MindGeek. Like, MindGeek are the biggest porn company in the world. They've got hundreds of employees. You're a bloke sat in his flat with maybe the odd freelancer helping you out. Like, it's like a single site, like 2-site business. You've been very successful. It's a medium-sized porn business. It's big for an independent company, but it's not a big porn company. That's not so hard to understand. He seems really hurt by this, but it's just a fact. He could have grown it. He could have grown it really big, I'm sure.
Man. What is not good, it's about the promotion for X video and Pornhub. In fact, you're supposed to be a porn director, as you said, and you promote the biggest site who does piracy.
So my podcast is all about promoting Pornhub and X videos? I don't think it is. I think I've been critical of Pornhub particularly, and I don't think I've shouted them out once. I've talked about them sometimes, but please show me how it's promotion for Pornhub and X videos. I'm sure he has evidence. Like, he has evidence I'm being paid for this podcast.
Interesting. Did you see me once in my life make a promo for this type of people? I don't think so. But you do. The people who put a video for free, the child watch it all over the world, that's okay for you, no problem.
I don't know what he's talking about. I've never done promotion for Pornhub or X videos. And yes, it's true that there's no age verification on Pornhub or X videos, but Woodman posts porn to his Twitter feed where children can watch it. I'm not really sure I understand the argument. What the fuck is he on?
But you come to play the knight, white knight, about people like...
Sorry, I've got to laugh at knight. Pronouncing the K. Fucking moron.
Me, supposed to do bad things to women, be a rapist, etc., etc. But...
Again, I didn't call him a rapist. I think he's got a guilty conscience.
Like the promotion of people who do milliards of dollars, giving video for free. The video you are supposed to have done, by the way, but the problem, you make a deal with them. That's crazy.
I made a deal with them.
Showing it for kids all over the world, it's not a problem for you. It is for me.
Okay, well, if it's a problem for you, Woodman, I assume you'll be banning children from your forum where you post hardcore images. You'll stop posting porn to your Twitter. This guy's deluded. And please, if I'm promoting Pornhub and X videos, please show me the evidence. You can't just make a claim and then not support it. Let's just do a thought experiment. Let's say MindGeek and X videos and Porno Dan, let's say they're paying me to do these podcasts. Does that mean that because they're paying me, that the claims I've made are not true? I don't think it does. I'm not being paid, but even if I were being paid, my arguments would still have to stand up on their own merits. Now, if I've told any lies, if I've twisted anything out of context, you can sue me for defamation. You know, take me to court. If there's anything I've done wrong, take me to court. I'll show my evidence. You prove I'm wrong, and then I have to apologize. But I thought maybe I might have to apologize in this video because I haven't seen the behind the scenes and what Pierre Woodman has of the Eva Berger shoot. But I haven't seen anything so far that shows me this scene was consensual. And his arguments are so ridiculous that it's like, oh, people are paying you to do your podcast, so that means it's not true?
That's also a difference between us, man.
I said, show me where she gave consent for these activities. And he sends me a picture of you two together after the shoot saying this is evidence. And it's like, that's not, he's a policeman, but he doesn't seem to know what evidence is. And he seems very scared to show the consent tape.
Работа не длинная.
1 hour, finish.
Час максимум все вместе.
There is no photo.
Там нет фотографий никаких.
Just being bam boom.
Только как такой домашний секс.
Just it has to be very intensive.
Intensive.
And we will speak very bad to you.
Они будут тебя плохо называть плохими словами, мне уже сленг это.
Are we okay with everything?
Есть какие-то вопросы? Не спрашивай, серьезно. Пообещай мне, что ты, если у тебя что-то будет чересчур, ты должна остановить, потому что мы не почувствуем, меня здесь вообще не будет в комнате. Вот, просто тебе нужно самой определить свои, да, опять-таки, шлепание по попе иногда бывает. Я, допустим, в своей жизни, то есть, я делала дабл-анал, как вообще, все сеты были дабл-аналы, вот, но шлепки по попе меня убивали до слез.
This seems very similar to the consent tape he showed at the beginning, so I'm not going to spend too long on the problems with it. But the problem is, I still haven't seen consent for all the activities. You can't just say, you can say stop at any moment. When you suffocate someone with a pillow, how do you say stop? You know, you're being suffocated. And again, the other problem, she's already been told by her agents, plural, before the scene, that you can't say stop. If you want to be successful, you can't say stop. And this is not a consent tape. Consent tape is going through the activities, setting boundaries, deciding what activities you want to do, not what activities the producer needs from you. Complain about like pushing their limits and things like that. And I think he then takes the video to them and says, look, you said yes.
Yeah.
And he brags about he likes fucking people up.
Why something should be wrong if a girl accepts a deal, sign a model release, said yes? Why you said it's fuck up the people if I say the girl has accepted the deal, she did the job? What's wrong with that? Why you try to put again something on the table which is not the truth? And about all the girls who complain about me, show us. Because when I did this video call with you, you said, oh, you got me. Yeah, I got you guys. Give me name. Show me something concrete about who said what. Because on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere, it's full of positive comment about me by the girl. Full. How many girls speak shit on me on the last 20 years? How many? Less than 10.
Many.
Who speak bad? The girl who speak bad mostly, like Lenina Crow or a girl like that, they never even spoke to me. They never even work with me.
It's interesting he brings up Lenina Crow. She spoke out about Woodman in the past. And I also spoke to Lenina, and she just had the same problem that many other people in the porn industry have. She was dating a producer at the time, and often girls would come for a shoot with her boyfriend, and they'd be covered in bruises, and he'd try to start filming, and they'd just break down in tears. They were traumatized from the day before. And Lenina just got to the point where she couldn't take anymore, and she tried to do something about it. Incredibly brave of her to go against the industry like that. It's just something that everybody has kept quiet about for years, including me. I kept quiet about it for a long time. And again, the idea of me telling when a victim's spoken to me in confidence as a friend or as a report to help me confirm parts of Eva's story, for example, or just to help me collect information about Woodman, for me to go to Woodman and say, hey, what about this girl, and betray her confidence like that and subject her to extreme harassment and the legal threats and the things that other girls get, that would be incredibly unprofessional and evil. So that's not a defense. The defense is, show us your tape. Just show us the behind the scenes, but he hasn't. Just give us the 4-hour footage.
The people who speak the baddest about me are the people who don't know me. Like you, for instance. You met me once for 5 seconds. You spoke to me for 1 hour. And what do you know about me? What do you know about me? How can you judge me without to know me? This is because you see some video. Sylvester Stallone is a murderer because he killed people in the movie. I'm supposed to be a rapist because my sin sometimes looks very strong. They start.
No, the allegations against you are not from me. They're from victims. Eva is just the victim I focused on because that's the one I've interviewed. Lana Rhodes is another one. We'll have to get a list of them. But there's many, many girls that have spoken publicly about you. And if one girl speaks publicly about someone, that's too many. You can't go, oh, there's only 10 spoken about me. 10 is a lot. Like, Jesus Christ, there should be none. Why should any of them be complaining? If everything's okay, no one should be complaining.
Of rape scene on the internet. Even me, I don't do a rape scene, but some people do rape scenes for like 10, 20 years. And there is a website of rape. Most of the Japanese scenes are about rape and not consensual sex. Are they all supposed to go in jail?
But no, a lot of Woodman scenes are staged as forced sex scenes, like the surprise gangbangs. And when Eva was in the bath and it's forcing her to accept piss, yes, that is rape porn. Come on, you are doing the forced sex fantasy. So he doesn't even understand his own genre. It's very strange. That's how he puts it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he does. I think he collects, like, he knows what he's going to do.
He's ex-policeman. He's quite smart.
He's been doing this pattern, this method for like 30 years. Yeah. And he's used to it. And he knows exactly like how to bully people. Like the legal threats I've had are off the charts. Like all I'm doing is giving my expert opinion.
Again, the expert. All right. So super expert. Now that you get the visual with Eva Berger saying yes. I mean, she said yeah, which means yes. I think so. About the video, she signed a model release where she writes in her own language that everything was fine and she agreed and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Now you will do what I'm asking you to do. Show us publicly, like I just did now,
This is really funny. Like, he thinks that this shows consent for all of the things he did to Eva, but having some agreement at the beginning of the scene, an agreement is not consent. Because how could she say no in front of her agent? How could she? She was put in that position where she could not say no. And he thinks this is like a mic drop moment. Like, I've proved my case. I'm fine. So, like, what the fuck? No, you have a lot of questions to answer.
Video consent of Marie Calisi and maybe some other girl. I will find some name, but show us how she agreed to blow you, to do all these things she did with you. Give us this video content.
Okay, so this is really funny that he brings up Mary Calisi. So every claim that's been made against Woodman on my podcast has been because a girl's complained, and that's why you look at that story. So now Woodman wants me to show consent for random scenes. And the really funny thing is he picked out a random scene on my site. He picked out Mary Calisi. So Mary Calisi was in a Russian yoga cult, which was arrested for kidnapping a child. Mary wasn't arrested, the cult leader was, and many of their models, they were trafficked across Europe in prostitution and in the porn industry. There's some horrific stories involved in that. And I've already put my hands up and said, there is no way any of those girls could have consented to the prostitution or the porn videos they made. They were all working illegally in Europe. They were trafficked. Into porn on Woodman's site, they were trafficked on my site and all the other sites that had them. So I don't know why he wants me to prove that a trafficked girl consented when clearly she didn't. So but it's just funny that he picks out that example.
Consent. Because you said what Eva did with me, it's not consent, it's assent. It's very, very perverse, this new style, this new game now that people like you play.
So he's right that it's not consent when you're in a situation where you can't say no. So when you say yes, there's different ways of getting yes. If you've been manipulated into saying yes, that's not consent. It's an agreement, but it's an agreement by fraud. So no, it's not consent. And in legal speak, most of what Woodman does would be classified as assent or acquiescence. And that's not me using these words or playing this game. This is the legal definition of consent. This just shows that he's a porn producer that doesn't understand what consent is. So how can any of his videos be consensual if he doesn't understand what consent is? He doesn't seem to understand that when you manipulate a girl into saying yes, that's not a yes.
That if a girl said yes, in truth, she didn't say yes because she wanted to say yes. She said yes because she was scared that if she said no, she will have a problem. What the fuck? Where we go with that? Come on.
Well, where do we go? We go towards having a porn industry where girls work with who they want to work within their limits, and girls that are happy. Like, that's all we want. We want happy and safe girls with no trauma. Like, that should be something we all agree on. But what you're telling me is you don't want to work in a consensual way. And that says a lot.
Okay, if we have a girl which have a gun on the head and she's...
Okay, so that's different. That's non-consent via force. So it's different to manipulation. That's also a type of sexual assault. So there's different types of sexual assault, and rape is just the most violent one. But Woodman seems to think that it's perfectly acceptable to use any form of fear, manipulation, or like kind of tactics from sex trafficking to get a girl to say yes, and that makes it consensual. He thinks that the only one that's not acceptable is forcing her with violence. No, that's not how consent works. And 30 years in porn, you should know this. This is embarrassing. He's arguing against consent, but I mean, how do you argue with this?
Yet for something, yeah, she's afraid of the consequence. Yes, I agree with this. So the yes will not be a real yes. But a girl sit down between the door and the Woodman monster, a agent in the room. Come on. She cannot say whatever she wants. She's obliged to say yes if she don't want to say yes.
This is my point. He's trying to make out like her agent being in the room is a positive thing. The agent is the person who's controlling her, the person that brought her to Europe illegally, the person that's taking a huge amount of her money, 20% from the producer, and then taking 20% from the girl as well, because they can with the Russian girls. They can exploit them easily because they've been sex trafficked. He's trying to make out like there's no problems with this. It's disgusting. It's like there's just no empathy, there's no thought for what it must feel like to be on the other side of his production.
She's obliged of nothing. She was begging to get this job that I didn't want to give, in fact, for her. And if Juliana Grandi didn't push me to do that, I would have never shot this girl. Because from the first minute I met her, I have thought in my head, wow, something is wrong with her. At the first second, my nose told me, my brain told me, my eyes told me. And even you see, the first word I said when I see her birth date, I said, wow, Gemini, double face, because I felt it.
Okay, so he's turned into a Fruit Loop. He's now, like, I feel like I'm on a Tinder date with him and he's telling me about astrology. Like, what the fuck? And you can't say, oh, a girl that accuses me of sexual assault and violent abuse is crazy. Like, that's not a defense, especially because crazy girls are often the people that are most vulnerable and targeted by abusers. People with mental health issues, people with learning disabilities, people in vulnerable situations, like people working illegally in the sex industry who have been trafficked here from Russia. They're very vulnerable, and you should be taking additional steps to protect their well-being and make sure there's no problems.
I have this instinct, and it was a big mistake to do this video. It was a big mistake. Like I did many mistakes in my life, whatever, not only with her. Some people, unfortunately, in this world, they are snake. They have big problem in the head, and they just have a so huge problem, personal, frustration. She explained herself, she was dreaming to be the star of the star of the stars, but she became nothing. No one cared of this girl. And what is very interesting, she was a bitch even before to have sex. Here is the proof.
Did you really sell your virginity, by the way?
Yeah, and I decided to just make a deal and get out of it. So I found a man on internet. We made a deal. It was something like 200 or 300 euro. Mm-hmm. And I went to hotel, and he just did it. That's all.
Top class.
I think it's really interesting that he pulls this out, because it shows you what he really thinks of women. In contrast, Eva's openness, willingness to admit her mistakes, her failures, things that have been difficult for her, just being open about the fact she sold her virginity, open about her abusive relationship. Compare that with Woodman's, this is his defense of her abuse allegations against him, is she's a bitch. Like, come on, this is not someone that's respectful towards women or safe around women in any way. Porno Dan are paying me to do my podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, like, at least give me the credit for my own work. Oh my God. So because my old podcast has Porno Dan listed as a co-host, that's proof that Porno Dan is paying me to do this podcast. Like, what? Yeah, no, if anything, I'd say Porno Dan's probably a bit pissed off with me that I started a new podcast on my own, because I needed something that was more just personal to me, really. So I imagine Porno Dan's more pissed off at me for this than paying me to do a podcast without him. Like, it doesn't make logical sense.
So here we have another interesting allegation. I'm also...
Okay, what's this? Oh yeah, Derek Hay. Yes.
Sex trafficking guy in America, not only in Europe, because I'm very small in the porn industry, but apparently I am so huge for sex trafficking. Because yes, I did something super, super bad. I give the phone number of some agency in America. You spoke only about Derek Hay, but I give also Mark Spiegler, which is a good friend, and various other people from the...
I very much doubt Mark Spiegler is a good friend of Pierre Woodman. Like, Spiegler's known for being super ethical, so I very much doubt he's a friend.
Industry to some girl, yes, who wanted to go to state, and then they went there, and they worked with Derek, and Derek now has some problems with justice, so I am the super bad guy. But yourself, what is super interesting, Mr. Super Tommy McDonald, now we can see how you are a big clown, because look what you said yourself.
Definitely these people were working illegally, because I even drove one of them to Kingman, Arizona to get their ID so they could work illegally in porn.
It's amazing to see the stupid things you can say about me, but also about yourself. The difference, mine are fake, yours are real.
This is so funny. So in another podcast, I covered his relationship with Derek Hay, who has been accused of pimping. And Woodman admitted in text messages, yes, I sent girls to him. But once I demonstrated that this is sex trafficking, because you're sending them to work illegally. And everybody in porn knew that working for Derek, people were working with not fake documents, but they obtained an American ID and worked illegally. So by definition, it's sex trafficking. And Woodman was proud of sending them there, and now he's backtracking. Oh, I just gave them a phone number. I didn't know they were working illegally. But he sees this as like a, gotcha moment. But no, I never sent girls to work for Derek. I always warned against working for him. I always advise people, contact Spiegler, do things properly, get a 3-year work permit. And the person he's talking about that I drove to Arizona, I was going to Vegas, so I just gave him a lift. It was a boy. He trafficked himself, if you like. He just wanted to work in America. Plenty of men, plenty of women do. And giving someone a lift is his gotcha sex trafficking moment. So, good luck with that.
So I guess somewhere you should be a bit like Eva Berger, masochist. I hope somebody from the FBI will watch this petite video.
Like in England, we have a saying, like, don't believe anything until it's officially denied.
Exactly, Tommy McDonald. This is the only thing true you have said in your podcast.
But that means that when you deny something, Woodman, that it means there's some truth there. And this is a 1-hour-long video of you saying we should believe Eva, I think.
Berger. All the other part was only lies, things that you vomit. You vomit your frustration, you vomit your hate of me, you vomit the stupidity you have. And you try just to get fame using name like mine because nobody...
This is so funny. I have more followers than him. I don't need you for fame, Woodman. The videos about abuse actually get less views than my other content. So, no. And that's not a defense. It's like, I didn't abuse Eva because you're just doing this for fame. Even if I was just doing it for fame, getting famous for investigative journalism would be a really cool thing. Not what I'm trying to do, but it would be cool.
Care about you and you expect making a kind of scandal that maybe one day you will get some recognition from association like Me Too.
He thinks Me Too, which is a hashtag, is an association. Like
the Discry and all these people, but honestly, no. You have no chance. First of all, because yourself you did very bad things, and a lot of people know that too.
Oh, I did bad things? What did I do? Do tell, and please show me the proof.
But my job is not about it. Show us the video content that you were requested by myself to show like you did for me now. So it's your turn. If you want to get some petite credit, like you said, because you love this word petite, so show us a petite credit for about yourself. Try to stay away from people like Ricardo Zoli that you love so much, but he's a convicted pimp. He got 14 years of jail.
No, that's not true. He did go to prison for sex trafficking. And he was your employee, Woodman. He was your guy. He was recruiting for you. It's amazing how many people that Woodman does business with go to prison for sex trafficking or rape and things like that. We've got Derek charged with pimping in America, his former employee, and Dennis Blackmagic. Geez, why are you always in the middle of it?
It was not a problem for you to be friends with this guy, to go to a restaurant with this guy, to invite this guy to your podcast just to...
Just to be clear, I've never met Ricardo Zoli in real life. We've only spoken via WhatsApp. But if we've been to a restaurant and you know we've been to a restaurant, show us the evidence. And I mean, I would have loved to have met him in person because I think I would have got even more information out of him. So hopefully we'll meet one day.
Shit about me. So yourself, you accuse me to be friends with Derek Hay, with Denis Blackmagic or people like that. Yes, friendly for me is important things. I know some people did some bad things. I don't say it's good. I don't won't even think about some kind of things some people that I have been friends with could have done. But it's not because some people did something bad that it's my fault, or I am part of it, or I am the same kind of people.
When you recruit models through a convicted child rapist, and when you send models to work for someone charged with pimping, people are going to ask questions about what your role in that is. You can't hang out with criminals and then be surprised when people think you're a criminal too.
So, please, do not keep this attitude. Do not continue to lie. Attack the people who deserve to be attacked if you want maybe one day get some fame as you dream about. Go to the people who have been involved in really bad things. Go to find out about what's happened in France, because some people are in jail. Yes, it's true, from the porn industry. But there was 54 women who complained about these people to the police. I never have a woman going to police about me.
That's not true, because on his forum, he said he was in jail for a couple of months before. I don't know the reason. Also, I believe Rocco and Woodman were kicked out of Russia because they were doing illegal things there. I don't know what. I've never been able to get the full story, but I don't think they're allowed back, put it that way.
So why did you target me? When you have so many possibilities to target some people who are really involved in bad things. Like, for instance, in Prague. Oh, yeah, but it's your boss. Oh, my goodness.
My boss?
That's the problem. But the police came to the office of your boss. You know that? It was in the newspaper. Why you never speak about this guy? Huh? Why? It was also on my forum. I put the photo with the police car, with everything. No.
Okay, so this story is that the legal porno studio in Prague was raided, and I don't believe they found anything because there was no prosecution and no charge. So Woodman wants me to investigate something that the police have already investigated and didn't find anything. And again, I live in Hungary. The people I know best is everything that happens in Hungary. I'm not in the Czech Republic. I'm not in America. I don't know all the ins and outs of what happens in America as well either. But if a girl comes to me and says something bad happened, or if I see a news report or a social media post of a girl speaking out against legal porno or any porn company, I will investigate, as I have with Leah Gotti, as I have with others. But if the girls won't speak to me, I can't do anything.
It's not interesting for you. The only thing that's interesting for you is to target Pierre Woodman and say shit about Pierre Woodman. All right.
No, I was actually doing a story about Rocco. You actually brought this on yourself because you said you'd show me the behind-the-scenes footage, but instead you made me do a big investigation because you couldn't show it. So that was a red flag for me.
But today, I guess, you get a bit slap in your face. And I think you're kind of a rat, if we can say it like that. It's not so class to say that, but for me, you look like a rat. Attitude. And that will be marvelous if you go back inside the hole where you are coming from, because the light is not for you and it will never be for you. You're nobody and you will stay always a nobody, because the way you act is bad and not correct, and the karma will eat you. Today the karma was like a boomerang. Eva Berger and you get back in the face what you tried to do. You were sure I will never show nothing because, of course, it's hurt my personal business, but I don't care, you know. My family and my image are more important than my business. I don't care. I just want the people to know what is the truth.
It's really funny that he thinks he has a good image. He has one of the worst reputations on the planet. I'd argue a worse reputation than Harvey Weinstein. Like, look at his porn. Even if it's not abusive, it's disgusting. It's misogynistic. It's vile. He's monetizing the fantasy of abusing a woman. And then the sad thing is that from what I've heard and what I've seen, in my opinion, the abuse allegations are real.
Therapist, that I never did nothing against the will of Eva Berger or any woman. And for you, fuck off.
Okay, so that was Woodman's video. For me, it was interesting. I was a little bit concerned before I saw it. But once I saw it, I saw how weak his argument was. Almost everything was just clips taken out of context to prove that things are okay. It's like, oh, I'm directing the scene here, so that proves that she wasn't hurt and abused. Well, that's not proof. He showed some consent. That was positive to see. But to make it consensual, we need to see more of that. And we need it to be done in an environment where it's possible for the girl to say no, not in front of her agent. And the fact he had to rely on fabricated text messages to make his case just shows you that he doesn't have one. Tell me in the comments what you think. Watch the video with Eva, I'll link to them. Watch the video I did exposing how Woodman works from one of his employees. And just tell me, am I wrong? Am I missing something? But I think in the whole video, there was one thing I spotted where Eva could be mistaken about. One thing. Whereas Woodman has been wrong and clearly tried to manipulate almost the entire thing. Like, he barely told a true word. But, tell me what you think in the comments. Who do you believe? Eva or Woodman?